Okay, I think I'm live. Okay, hello everyone. I'm live for another Wellness Wednesday. Today we are going to talk about hormonal health, especially after menopause. We're going to talk about what to expect and how to stay healthy. Going to say a quick hi to Isha. There is a few more G. Moncherian and all. Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching this live. So, we are going to discuss everything about menopause. And one of the reasons is that menopause is such an important part, of a woman's life where the hormonal changes occur because reproduction it signifies the end of the reproductive cycle, and often a lot of changes that occur during menopause are going to impact your overall health and not just your reproductive health. So what I mean is, often when women go through menopause, they'll go through different issues, either related to depression. Sometimes the rates of heart disease, cardiovascular disease, the rate of heart attacks in women who are before menopause, right? So in the reproductive years are half, and once you hit menopause, you are twice as likely to have heart attacks as compared to men. So this is one of the reasons talking about menopause is an extremely important aspect of our overall health. So that's one thing we always have to do. We always have to look at those things from like a very different lens, and making sure that not just are you aging gracefully, but you are also taking good care of your body. You're taking really good care of your hormones. Now, one important thing to realize during menopause is, if you are super stressed, you're going to have way more menopausal signs and symptoms as compared to somebody else who is not going through a lot of stress. And one of the reasons is, we talk about hormones together. We talk about cholesterol as the maker molecule. It's like the raw material that will make cortisol, which is your stress hormone, or it will make estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, right? So we need estrogen, we need progesterone, and we also need testosterone for a lot of different functions in our body, even besides the reproductive function. For example, testosterone has a lot to do with muscle, right? So if you end up losing a lot of testosterone, not only are you going to lose your libido, but you're also going to lose a lot of the muscle mass. Now, when somebody goes through a significant amount of stress, that is going to impact your body into making more of this cortisol, which is a stress hormone, because your body literally perceives that survival is at stake, and it's not going to make any of the estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone. And typically, when you are already in the menopausal age, where naturally the function of your hormones is waning, and then you're compounding it with stress, it is going to be a disastrous combination, which is going to lead you to have a lot more of the menopausal symptoms. So when we're talking about hot flashes, when we talk about night sweats, when we talk about loose saggy skin or muscle loss, when we talk about insomnia, so all of these are going to be compounded by stress. And that is why stress management, especially at this time, is going to be hugely important. So what can we do? So from an Ayurvedic perspective, definitely dietary changes are of a priority. Whenever you are going through menopause, a lot of the times women experience lots of hot flashes, and the reason is the heat also. So definitely chemical alteration in the hypothalamus will occur, entire body will occur. But also we look at liver, which is the center that also helps balance the heat in the body. It is one of the major pitta sthana. So if there is any excess heating, if there is excess overloading of the liver, you are going to have more hot flashes, you are going to have more irritability. So not just a vata imbalance is going to occur, or vata aggravation is going to occur, but also a pitta aggravation occurs in a lot of women, characterized by night sweats, anger, agitation, irritation. as well as hot flashes. So, eating a diet that's really going to balance pitta and vata is important at such a time. Especially, one of my favorites is ghee or clarified butter, right? So ghee, cultured butter that has been, cooked at really low temperatures, and then you're making ghee out of it, and ghee is going to help absorption of calcium, which again, we know that postmenopausal women are more prone to osteoporosis, osteopenia. So ghee is going to help with that. Ghee is going to help with digestion. It's going to help with bloating. It's going to help with different symptoms. And ghee also maintains the lubrication in the body. It maintains the luster on the skin, and it is balancing to both vata and pitta. So that is really important. So these things, adding spices to your diet and adding spices that are digestive, like fennel, for example. So fennel tea is another fantastic thing to have. You can have CCFT, coriander, cumin, fennel, or you could also go for a fennel tea. Now, fennel is also something that has phytoestrogens, and these are the plant-based estrogens that are going to give you some hormonal support when your own hormones are waning. So adding fennel tea to your diet is a really good idea. Chewing on fennel seeds post meals to support your digestion is another fantastic idea. So these two, definitely, I would recommend that. And mung beans, so eating something that's light. Again, if you cook mung beans, they are not going to be vata aggravating. Mung beans are the least of the vata aggravating if you compare it to the bigger beans, which are going to be more difficult to digest. And mung beans also have phytoestrogens, so when your own hormones are waning, this is going to give you more support to balance your body, and they're not going to aggravate the pitta as well. So definitely the number one thing is changing the diet, cutting out all the preservatives, making sure you're gaining more support if you're emotionally eating, so you can get rid of any of the junk diet. So, Free Soul Yoga says Malasana, Shakti Devi Asana, Titli Asana, Basrasana will with your diet 100%. So, the second one was going to be about activity, movement, right? So, movement or activity is not just about exercising. Of course, the modern medicine talks about exercise, but it's also you're channelizing prana to move throughout your body, and that's where yoga works fantastic, right? Yogasanas are extremely good to be able to move that prana throughout your body, so that every part of your body gets access to the prana, right? And different asanas like butterfly pose, titli asana, definitely those are certain things that you have to do. One other thing is to be able to make sure you're getting adequate sleep. So this is the time where a lot of women will have sleepless nights. A lot of bodily changes are also accompanied by emotional changes. A lot of the times, especially in the Western culture or the Western world, where you will see that your children are now grown up by the time you hit menopause, and now they're leaving the nest, so you're dealing with menopause and you're becoming an empty nester at the same time. So there is a huge emotional impact of that as well. So making sure that either you go for counseling or you talk to your friends, you're getting supported, uh, is important. And then adequate sleep is important. Often menopause related hormonal changes will disrupt your sleep patterns. So having some nutmeg, in warm milk, if you are sensitive to milk, you can go for something a little bit more nourishing, like either coconut milk and the light coconut milk, right? So definitely adding a little more nutmeg in it is going to help you with that. Saffron has been studied to be a mood stabilizer. So if you're going through depression, adding a little bit more saffron in your diet, it helps with your skin. It's also going to really help with your mood. Now, limiting the caffeine. A lot of the times, when you struggle with energy, the first thing that comes back into your diet is caffeine. But caffeine is not something everybody can handle. And caffeine is something that is going to aggravate both vata as well as pitta dosh, and it is going to throw your stress glands off balance. So making sure, you're replacing your coffee either with chicory or teas of any kind. Holy basil tea is one of the things that I recommend for most people most times, because holy basil is also a very spiritual herb. It strengthens your aura. It also has a huge effect on your prana, right? It works on the respiratory system, it will decongest you, but at the same time it's one of the highest prana boosting herbs. There are some others that will really help you with mood changes, like bakopa brahmi is there, mandukparni is there, jyotishmati is there. But often these herbs, you always have to consult with ayurvedic practitioners or doctors before you can go for these herbs. But holy basil, something in the tea form, is that you can start taking right away, and that's really going to help you feel a little bit more energized. It's going to help you, channelize your prana as well. Hydration, again, I'm going through a lot of the basics. So um, hydration, again, extremely important. Water is something that pertains to the emotions. It pertains to rasa, not just rasa dhatu, but the juiciness of life as well. So making sure you're well hydrated is another one thing that is going to really maintain a healthy skin, support your digestion, as well as regulate your body temperature. If you don't drink a lot of water, you are not going to be able to sweat and cool off. So making sure you're well hydrated is going to be extremely important. Now, if somebody is going through a lot of pesky symptoms, what can you do? So hot flashes, mood swings, sleep disturbances. So there are various natural remedies that can help during this time. Some are phytoestrogens, eating more lentils, eating more mung beans, having more, soy, again, as bad as a rap it has. If you go for non-GMO soy, if you spice it up, if you cook it well, it is a fantastic digestible protein, and it also has phytoestrogens. So making sure you're boosting your body with a lot of phytoestrogens at this time. There are several different herbs that can support you as well, and there are several different oils that can support you at this time as well. So something like evening primrose oil is commonly used, for a lot of menopausal symptoms, as well as it keeps your skin healthy. um, Herbal teas, different kinds of herbal teas. Chamomile is great, holy basil is fantastic. So those are some things you can definitely do. Now, one important aspect of menopause is to always make sure you are focusing on your bone health as well as your cardiovascular health, right? And whenever we talk about bone health, often we see that in menopause, a lot of women will start gaining weight. They will gain a lot of fat around the belly region, but at the same time they will start having lots of osteoporosis, and they will have, osteopenia, which is the pre-stage. So making sure you have a good diet, you have low stress levels, but you're also seeking support if you are gaining a lot of fat or a lot of weight around this time. If we look at the sequence of dhatu parinaman in Ayurveda, it's the medo dhatu, or the fatty tissue, is before the asti dhatu, right? So whenever you are gaining excess fat, and that's always the inflammatory fat, that's not just going to increase the inflammation in your body, it will not give sufficient raw material for the formation of bone tissue, and your bone tissue is going to be weakened again, right? So making sure that you are doing uh, getting rid of the excess inflammatory fat. Your This is something that's unique. The causes are unique to every person why they gain fat. So working with an ayurvedic doctor is always the best option here, but that is something you need to look at. The other thing I have seen, and even today, I had a consultation in the morning where, um, to deal with poor digestion or a lot of gas and bloating, I had a client who was drinking lots of carbonated beverages. She was drinking fizzy water, she was drinking um, diet pop, and she was also taking Prolia at the same time. So Prolia is a drug that's used for osteoporosis. Now, if you are drinking lots of fizzy waters, if you're drinking alcohol, it is going to create more acidity in your system, and that is going to be not so good for your bones. Whenever we talk about bone health in Ayurveda, we talk about staying away from amla rasa. It's going to create more joint pain, and alcohol is also something that is a very strong like acid, right? Or it is acidic in nature, that can corrode easily. So make sure you're cutting your alcohol, or you're cutting all the carbonic acid out, and also working out any body weight positions. Yogasanas are fantastic. Surya namaskar, if you're going through a lot of emotional upheaval, if you're feeling depressed, something like namaskar gives you that fire, and it gives you overall energy in your body. So making sure you do that. Now we look at the heart. So cardiovascular health is also extremely important. Making sure you avoid all the maida based foods. So maida is white flour. So white flour based, or any refined foods, any bad oils, a lot of the junk oils you will see in pasta sauces, you'll see some canola oil, you'll see some soybean oil. In pickles you will see cottonseed oil. So all these inflammatory oils are going to be bad for your hormones. So making sure, as well as your heart, so making sure you're cutting those out of your diet. Whenever we look at heart from an Ayurvedic perspective, we are looking at prana, which is your life force. We are looking at rasa, which is the first tissue transformation product of your digestion working on the food. And we are also looking at your mind, manovasrotas. So heart is supposed to be the main, channel, or the main root of different systems in the body. And if you are going through any emotional issues, if you have a poor digestion where you're not producing proper rasa, or if you are going through a lot of prana related issues, your heart is also going to be impacted. So making sure you go for this. Now I know a lot of women consider hormonal therapy, right? But often hormonal therapy, hormonal replacement therapy, there can be bioidentical hormones which will help some women, and then certain women will have either no benefit, or they will have even more symptoms. So the best thing, if you are considering this, to always make sure you're having dietary changes, you're having lifestyle changes, along with any kind of therapy that you go for. And especially when we look at menopause, you have to look at a whole lifestyle change. You have to look at changes in the diet, changes in activity as a lifestyle change, and not just as a quick fix. So this is my short talk on hormonal health after menopause. I know it's a short talk. I've been busy today and I have a few appointments lined up, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. If you have any questions, if you have specific questions about menopause, either before or after, feel free to post it in the comment section. And if you want to work one on one with me, feel free to just message me, and we can schedule a 50-minute free consultation to make sure we're on the same page, and you can answer any questions that you have and how I can help you. So thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic day. Bye for now.